You're listening to a song. Maybe it's one you've heard 1,000 times. Maybe it's new. Doesn't matter. The music builds, the harmony shifts, the melody resolves, and suddenly your skin erupts. Goosebumps, a shiver down your spine, your chest tightens, sometimes your eyes water. It's involuntary, undeniable, physical. Everyone experiences this. We call it frisson, getting chills from music, and everyone has a theory about why it happens. The music is beautiful, it's emotionally powerful, it reminds you of something important. The crescendo triggers an adrenaline response. All of that sounds reasonable, all of that is missing the point. Because here's what should terrify you. Your body is responding to organized air pressure fluctuations as if they were a physical threat or a survival signal. And nobody knows why that should be possible. Here's what you think is happening. Music carries emotional information. You hear a sad song, you feel sad. You hear an exciting song, you feel excited. The chills are just your body's way of expressing that emotional response. Your autonomic nervous system kicks in, releases some neurotransmitters, triggers the pilomotor reflex, same mechanism that makes your hair stand up when you're cold or frightened. The music is moving you emotionally, and the chills are the physical manifestation of being moved. That explanation feels complete, it feels obvious, but it's circular. It doesn't explain anything, it just restates the question in different words. Why should organized sound trigger the same physiological response as mortal danger? Let me tell you something about goosebumps. The pilomotor reflex is ancient. It exists in almost all mammals. When a cat's hair stands on end, it's making itself look larger to scare off predators. When you get cold, your body hair stands up to trap insulating air. The reflex is triggered by the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight system, the part of your brain that evolved to keep you alive in emergencies. It releases adrenaline and norepinephrine. Your heart rate increases, your pupils dilate. Blood flow redirects from your digestive system to your muscles. This is a threat response. This is your body preparing for violence or escape. And music, organized patterns of air vibrating at particular frequencies, triggers it. Stay with me, because this is deeply wrong. Music is not a threat. It never was. There is no evolutionary environment where the ability to distinguish major from minor chords conferred a survival advantage. There is no predator that attacks in 4/4 time. There is no food source that announces itself with melody. Music is a recent invention, evolutionarily speaking. 30,000 years at most, probably much less. The brain structures that respond to music are millions of years old, which means your brain is repurposing ancient survival mechanisms to process an arbitrary cultural phenomenon. And that repurposing goes so deep that music can make you cry, make your skin crawl, make your body react as if something significant is happening when nothing is happening at all. Do you see what happens? The chills are not about the music. They're about prediction error. Your brain is constantly trying to predict what's going to happen next. It builds a model of the world, runs that model forward in time, and compares its predictions to reality. When reality matches prediction, nothing happens. When reality violates prediction in a significant way, your brain flags it. That flag triggers an arousal response, a spike in attention, a release of dopamine and norepinephrine. It's saying, "This is important, pay attention, update your model." Music exploits that mechanism. A good composer builds expectations, then violates them in precisely calibrated ways. The unexpected chord change, the sudden key modulation, the moment where the harmony resolves after tension. Your brain predicts wrong, gets surprised, and your body responds with chills. If you want to understand how the universe actually works, not just how it looks, but how it works, hit that subscribe button. Let's find things out together. Now I want to take this deeper. Let's be honest about what this reveals. Your emotional responses are not reactions to meaning. They're reactions to pattern violations. The music doesn't mean anything. It's not conveying information about the world. It's just sound organized in particular temporal and harmonic structures. But those structures are organized in ways that create and violate expectations. And your brain treats expectation violation as emotionally significant, which means your emotions are not about the world. They're about your model of the world. You're not feeling sad because the music is sad. You're feeling something because your brain's predictive model just failed in a specific way, and the feeling your brain generates to mark that failure is the sensation we label as sadness or joy or awe. Here's the part that keeps me up at night. If music can trigger genuine emotional responses without referencing anything real, then emotion is fundamentally arbitrary. It's not tracking truth, it's tracking prediction error. You cry at a movie even though you know it's fiction. You feel fear during a horror film even though you're safe in a theater. You get chills from a chord progression even though nothing changed in the physical world except air pressure. Your emotional system can be hijacked by patterns, by narrative structures, by sounds, by anything that creates and violates expectations. And you can't override it. Knowing that the music is just organized sound doesn't stop the chills. Knowing that the movie is fake doesn't stop the tears. Your emotions are not under conscious control. They're automatic responses to statistical regularities in sensory input. Let me take this to a place that's going to make you uncomfortable. If your emotional responses are triggered by pattern violations rather than reality, then most of what you feel is probably a reaction to prediction errors about things that don't matter. You get anxious about imagined futures that will never happen. You feel regret about past decisions that you're misremembering. You feel attachment to people based on stories you've told yourself about who they are, not who they actually are. Your entire emotional life is your brain responding to its own models, its own predictions, its own internally generated patterns. And music proves this because music has the same emotional power as real events despite being completely abstract. This should bother you, and here's why. It means you can't trust your feelings. When you feel something strongly, you assume it's because something significant happened. But music shows that's not true. Music shows that you can feel something strongly for no reason at all, just because a sound pattern violated your brain's expectations in a particular way. So when you feel heartbreak or grief or joy or love, how do you know it's because of what you think it's because of? How do you know your brain isn't just responding to some pattern mismatch, some expectation violation, and generating the feeling automatically, and then you're confabulating a reason after the fact? Your feelings feel meaningful. They feel like they're about something. But music shows that the feeling can exist without the aboutness. The chills are real. The reason you give for the chills is a story you tell yourself. Let's be honest about the deeper structure here. Music is pure mathematics, frequency ratios, temporal patterns. Consonance is when the frequencies form simple integer ratios. Dissonance is when they don't. A major chord is a frequency ratio of 4, 5, 6. A minor chord is 10, 12, 15. The difference between happy and sad is literally just numbers, and your brain responds to those numbers with profound emotional experiences, which means emotion is not a response to meaning, it's a response to structure. Your brain is a pattern detection machine, and when it detects certain patterns, it generates certain feelings, and the feelings are not about the world, they're about the patterns. But here's the beautiful part. Here's the reframe. The fact that music can make you feel without meaning anything means that feeling is a fundamental mode of existence, not a derivative one. You don't feel because things matter because you feel. The universe is mathematical, deterministic, meaningless, just particles following equations. But you are a meaning-generating system. You take pattern violations and turn them into emotions. You take frequency ratios and turn them into beauty. The chills are not a bug. They're proof that you're alive. They're proof that your brain is actively engaged with the world, building models, making predictions, responding to surprise. When music gives you chills, nothing is happening. No information is being transmitted. No survival-relevant event is occurring. Just air vibrating, just sound waves entering your ear canal, just your cochlea transducing mechanical vibrations into neural signals. But your brain interprets those signals as significant. It generates an emotional response as powerful as anything you'd feel during actual danger or actual triumph. And that response is real. The chills are real, the feeling is real, even though the cause is just math, even though the whole experience is your brain talking to itself. This means you are not a passive receiver of emotions triggered by the world. You are an active generator of emotions in response to patterns. The world provides the patterns. You provide the meaning. Music is the clearest demonstration of this because music has no content. It's not about anything, it's just structure. But you respond to it as if it matters, and in responding, you make it matter. The chills are not the music moving you. The chills are you moving yourself in response to the music. You are doing this to yourself. Your brain is creating the experience, generating the emotion, triggering the physiological response, all in reaction to organized air pressure fluctuations that mean nothing. The song ends. The chills fade. Your heart rate returns to normal. The adrenaline clears from your bloodstream. The emotion dissipates. And you're left wondering what just happened. Nothing happened. And everything happened. You experienced something profound, something that felt meaningful, something that generated a physiological response identical to survival-relevant events. But it was all internal, all generated, all a conversation your brain had with itself about pattern and expectation and surprise. The music was just the trigger. The experience was you. You've been taught that emotions are reactions to the world, that you feel sad because something sad happened, that you feel joy because something joyful occurred. But music proves that's backwards. You feel because your brain generates feelings in response to pattern violations, and then you attribute those feelings to external events. The external events are just patterns. The feelings are the primary thing. You are not in the world feeling things. You are a feeling thing that the world triggers. The chills are not about the music. They're about you, about your capacity to generate meaning from mathematics, emotion from structure, significance from sound. If this twisted your brain a little bit, good. That means it's working. I'll see you in the next one.